Hello, everybody. Dr. Rachel here from Precision Empowered Health. And tonight I'm here to talk to you about a brand new program that I'm just ecstatic about presenting. As you all know, I've been doing functional medicine for a very long time, and my pursuit in terms of the science of healing has been this all-consuming obsession of mine. I really want to help people heal from the most congruent, natural, inside-out way possible. And over the years, I've really found out that healing is more than just a proper kind of science. So, as many of you know that are my patients and who work with me, is that the right kind of diagnosis is very critical for doing the right kinds of things. And most of the patients that come to see me have been on this journey of finding out what is wrong with me. And the pursuit of that has led them to doctors telling them that they are crazy, that it's just depression, that they just need to exercise a little bit more, and they really feel like they're not heard. And so in the pursuit of helping people find their health, what I've seen is that, first of all, the science has to be there. You have to have a proper diagnosis for someone to really heal. You have to give people a clear answer as to what direction they have to go so they can invest their energy in the right kinds of things. Now, as I've worked with patients over the years, I have found out that the science of healing, which is critical and crucial, is still only one part of the healing equation. There's something that's called the energetics or the art of healing that a lot of doctors aren't talking about. Now, that's not on purpose because your doctor should be trained in the science part of healing. And that's critical, very, very important, because if you don't have the reasons why you're sick, you don't have any direction to go. But some people, when they get their diagnosis or they get clarity with what they need to do, they enter a state where they do not have the right mindset and heart set to heal. Now, what do I mean by the right art to heal? This is what I mean by that, and this is very important. Just because you are doing the right kinds of things, it does not guarantee that you'll heal. So an example of that is just because you are eating the right diet and you're doing it perfectly, it does not mean your gut is going to heal. It is not one for one like that. And for many of you, hearing that is kind of a sad thing because we've been trained to believe that doing the right things is all it takes. Because we live in a culture that's really about action, right? We want to know the right kind of diet to beat the kind of thing that we have. We want to know the supplements that we should eat and how long we should have them for. We want to know all the things. And I know that comes from a place of really wanting to do the right thing. But that in itself is not enough. So the best example I can give this is, if any of you have ever been in a situation where your significant other or a family member got mad at you, although you said the right kind of thing. And they say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And they're still mad, although you said the right thing. You know what to say to them in that situation. You know what not to say to them to trigger them. But despite saying the right kind of thing, they're still mad at you. Because maybe your focus was just on saying the right kind of thing or agreeing with them. Maybe you were just trying to not make the situation worse. But people are smart, and they know when you don't actually mean what you say. And the body is the same way. So if you're eating the right kind of diet and you're perfect with it, but you hate every single minute of it, healing does not happen. And so the first person the energetics of healing program is for the person who already has a standard above most people they know. They already have the standard where they're eating things that are way healthier. Maybe you eat it organic. Maybe you're gluten-free or you're grain-free. Maybe you have a healing diet that you're following that makes everyone else around you kind of uncomfortable. because you eat kind of crazy and they don't even know what to feed you when you come over anymore. Maybe you have the kind of diet that makes your husband cringe when you go out to eat because you're going to be the person who's making a fuss with a waiter, trying to make sure that they know what you can and can't have. And you're just causing problems. And so you already know that you're doing more than the average person. And it's not even fair because no one else does what you have to do, and their health is better than yours. It just literally isn't fair to you. And so the energetics of healing talks about how do you take what you're doing, the actions that you're doing, and how do you ground that into state of why you're doing it, of solidarity with your body, so that there's not a discordant energy with what you're doing and how you're feeling about it. Because if you spend all your time hating on your diet and hating the pills and hating the protocol and hating your life, and you just can't wait to get on with your life and be normal again, that does not create an internal environment where your body goes, oh yeah, we're doing a good thing. We're doing positive things. All it can sense is, this is hard, this is horrible, nobody likes me, and I just don't want to be here. And through the years of doing this work, I have seen this to be very true, where people do all the right kinds of things and they're disappointed in the end results because their goals were totally messed up. Their goals were more about, how can I not feel bad? How can I not have pain when I eat? How can I sleep better and feel good when I wake up in the morning? How can I eat and not feel crappy? How can I do the things in my life without feeling bad? So their only goals are things that they don't want. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be exhausted. I don't want to feel like crap. But they don't have any goals that go into what they actually want. So their standard of health is actually very low. They just don't want certain things. And if that's what you say, that's what you get. And that does not produce a vibrant health state. Now, for those of you who feel like a pariah in terms of how you live and how you eat, this is very critical for you to get over this stance as soon as possible, because that feeling of just being, oh, I'm not normal, I hate my life, I can't wait to get this done with, how long is this going to take? Hurry up, I'm doing all the right kinds of things and I still felt kind of crappy yesterday, this is not fair. That kind of state will never yield you the results that you want, and will produce for you very suboptimal states compared to the things that you are actually doing. So your results will not match the amount of action that you're putting into your healing plan. And so this goes to the person who is doing all the right kinds of things, and you want to shift from living the kind of crazy life where everyone's a little bit like, that person is doing all kinds of stuff with their diet and they're taking pills all day long. They seem miserable. And you're changing that energy and you're transmuting it to the person who lives the extraordinary life, where the actions you're taking, the things that you're doing, the way you're shopping comes as an easeful second step to the internal state of who you are. Because you understand that healing is more than just eating the right kinds of things. You understand that healing is a global energetic state that you must step into. And this is about benefiting from your physical actions and creating a deep who you are kind of healing, not what you do. Because this is very, very important. You are not what you eat. You eat because of who you are. If your standard for who you are is very, very poor, and you have very little self-respect, and you have no amount of forward thinking, and you're just living in the now, that's going to produce someone who consistently eats in a very poor way, or the moment they can get away with it, they're going to eat in a way that doesn't serve them. But if you're a person who has a high standard, because that is who you are, and that is the congruency level of how you live your life, that person eats in a way that now becomes simple and easeful. There's so much food out there for me. So many restaurants serve what I want to eat. So many people are eager and happy to help me when they see that I am in this divine congruent, happy state. And everything changes. So the first person the energetics of healing mastermind for is for the person who's already on their healing path. These are my patients who've been working with me, and you know what you have to do, and it's time to shift the mindset so that the body heals faster. Because what is the point of healing anyways if you are in this miserable pattern of just, I can't wait till I'm done with this? What's the point of healing? There's no point in that at all. And so this is to ground your actions into the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. It turns the actions of having to cook and shop in a certain way into a secondary effect of this is who I am and this is what I do. And it's congruent and therefore it's simple. And it's not an uphill battle with myself and the voices in my head and the timelines that I impose on my body, but it's a simple act of, yes, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to heal, and I will respect my body, and I will promote and give it everything it needs to do its job well. And so this turns you from victim mode into why do I have to do this, and how come no one else has to do what I have to do, into a state of empowerment. And that will not only speed the healing that you're in now, but it'll ground you so that it's not just a one-time event. Where, yeah, when I was working on my health for those 6 months, I felt the best I ever felt. But gosh, that was a lot of stuff to do. And I just can't live like that. And so now I feel subpar. I don't have the energy that I used to have, but that's just a trade-off. And that's really, really not true. And this is also for a second kind of person. Now, for those of you who work with me, you are probably in that first category. So this next category is for the people that are probably observing you and they're just watching either with a mixture of awe or just disgust, right? And they're seeing all things that you're doing and they kind of want what you have and they respect the actions that you're taking, but they're afraid to do it for themselves. And so those of you who are procrastinating on your health because it's easy to in our health environment here. Our whole health environment these days is set up on a system of procrastinating and doing the least amount of things that you have to do so that you can wait and wait and wait and wait until it gets bad enough, then you got to do something. Our whole healthcare system is set up on symptom relief. So how do we make sure you can still go to work, even though you have raging migraines 3 times a week? How do we just make sure that you're not in pain so you can still stare at that screen and get your work done? How do we get you still working and doing what you have to do and getting all your tasks done, although you're in pain after you eat every single meal? How do we just make those symptoms shh and go away? And that level of procrastination is a very substandard level on how you treat your health, because if that's how you do your health, guaranteed, that's how you do your relationships, that's how you do your work, that's how you do your business, that's how you do your friendships, because there's no way to treat your body that way and treat other people or other circumstances in a better way. Because if you do, that's a false kind of treatment. It's not deep. It doesn't have any meaning to it. It's just doing it and you don't actually mean it, and nobody is fooled. So true healing from the perspective of treating your body the way that you need to treat it is the first step to up-leveling everything else. If you choose to eat better, if you choose to shop better, if you choose to self-care better, that has to change everything else. If it doesn't, then you're just doing things. You're not feeling into them. You're not learning what it means to be a person who heals. And so for those of you who feel like you're in this second category, when you're just procrastinating on doing something for your health and taking that step, you're afraid of the results. You're afraid of seeing what it is. You're afraid of maybe the label that it gives you. The mindset has to shift from being afraid of seeing it to how can I best serve my body in clarity and power. And from that standpoint, you're not in avoidance mode anymore. You're in power mode. You're in clarity mode. You're in self-care and self-giving mode. And that's very, very different. And those of you who are afraid of learning what the thing is and stepping into your full power because you might have to give up some food or some habits that don't serve you, that's also a low energy state that you have to up level. What does it mean to stay in a mode of not knowing and a mode of uncertainty and a mode of blindness just because you don't want to change something or give up something? That energy is definitely going to perpetuate to everything else. What's the least amount of things that I can do to maintain the status quo? And you may be unwilling to level up because of the changes that have to happen about who you might be, the identity that you have to lose. You might have to give up a sickness identity. You might have to give up how people treat you because of the condition that you're in. And if you're hearing this and it's really sinking in, then the energetics of healing is your first step. How do I get into the mode where I can go into health and go into healing and go into shifting my body because I'm not afraid of what it might mean or what I have to do? Because if I have the power and the energy to shift, then the actions and the healing and the seeing and the lab tests and the diet, that all becomes simple. And then, of course, kind of situation instead of I have to do all this stuff. See the difference there? Feel the difference when you go into I have to do stuff versus I get to up-level my health. I get to become a new person. I get to change how I treat my body and therefore everything else in my life. Those are powerful decisions right there. So the energetics of healing starts on this weekend. Saturday, January 22nd. For those of you who feel like, yes, there's a stirring here, please consider it. Take a moment and be quiet within yourself. And if it's a yes from the body, it's a yes for you. And following that is congruency, and that's power. For those of you who are interested, please go ahead and message me, and we will see if it's right for you. Again, this is Dr. Rachel from Precision Empowered Health. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm wishing everyone congruency, power, freedom, health, self-sovereignty, and a good night. Bye.